Stephen Scales is Client Services Director with UKactive and joins me on the programme. Hello, Stephen. Good morning.
Good morning, Vanessa. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you, and I hope you are too. Lots of people are expressing, frankly, bewilderment. They don't get it. They don't understand. They don't see why gyms are not being allowed to open when cinemas and pubs are being allowed to open. I wonder whether you, when you're told, no, you can't open at UKactive, whether you get any kind of explanation or directive that tells you why you can't.
No, and we are absolutely desperately seeking that, Vanessa, is that we worked after a 5-week consultation with the sector to present comprehensive health and safety guidance on the 7th of May to the government that would respect social distancing and already enhance what was fundamentally already existing robust hygiene and sanitation measures. Mm-hmm. The government welcomed this documentation and we believed it was ready for publication.
Yeah.
At no point were formal concerns raised about the proposed operating models, and no formal questions were asked, and that's what's left us relatively surprised and frustrated, both from an industry perspective, but of course the members that you've just mentioned. And any questions that the government have is that we would have enthusiastically answered them.
I think when people think of gyms, they think of sweating, panting, huffing and puffing, because if you're not doing that, you're not burning off any calories and you're not having a good cardio workout. So they think of people generally dripping and huffing and puffing and panting all over the equipment. But then they know that you can swab it down afterwards and they know you can disinfect and clean it. But then I suppose they think then you go quite closely past other people on your way to the changing room. They imagine that you will have to change because you're not going to go sweating out into the wide blue yonder in whatever you wore in the gym. So there's got to be some kind of dressing and undressing and changing in close proximity. And maybe people just don't imagine and can't envisage how you would train and it would be a training session worth its while at the gym without somehow endangering yourself and other people.
No, absolutely. And I suppose there's a few common misconceptions with, I suppose, the effects of COVID is that with it being a respiratory disease, it's not transferred through sweat. And as mentioned, that the operators across the board from big, small, public, private, independent have put measures in place to ensure the safety of their customers, to ensure that there is an effective service given to those people. We're a service-based industry that thrives on creating community and consumer confidence, and the organisations involved are fully aware of that and have put every measure in place to ensure that we can open safely.
And what happens if they don't say yes? Because, you know, how are the finances looking and what are the prospects for the business continuing with no income?
Well, it's a stark reality moving forward, given the level of silence from the government. Is first and foremost, we're seeking clarity. We're seeking clarity on a date so that people can be prepared to work towards and plan accordingly for their businesses. And the sector, as a £7.7 billion economy that employs over 189,000 people, we could be in a stark reality where we're losing 100,000 jobs. And to put that in perspective, Vanessa, is that will be national operators, that will be the loss of public sector provision, and also business owners. There's over 2,000 independent business owners within the sector as well. So it's a whole cross section of effect. That is underpinned with a willingness to support the nation's rehabilitation in light of the COVID crisis.
And we've just heard, I don't know if you heard the email I read out from that delightful listener who says that she swims effectively for her sanity. It's not just her physical health, but it's absolutely imperative for her mental health, a sense of feeling, you know, that she can tackle the day. Do you feel that gyms are pivotal not just for keeping people physically healthy, but also mentally healthy, and that's very important?
Absolutely. There's a whole range, as we call it, the golden thread that works through society. Physical and mental well-being are obviously key factors, but also the opportunities for educational attainment, for crime reduction. Is that the sector generates over £3.3 billion in social value back to society.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us. Stephen Scales there, Client Services Director with UKactives.